Hey guys, this is Darren Benton again with Performance Motorcoaches. We are back here in Texas with the 2024 Showhauler. This actually went to the 2023 Hershey RV Show. It finished up last Sunday. We drove it to Texas this week, got it home, got it all cleaned up, and we're going to do a video. I promised you a video before the show. We just got too busy, got too rushed, and we have a new microphone. So, hate to say Instamic is out. Rode is in. We're going to see if this will stand the test of time and work with our somewhat simple. You know, we're not very technical here at Performance Motorcoaches in the way of this type of stuff. We're more into motorhome. So anyway, we'll get back to it. So this is a 2024 Showhauler. This completed just right before the Hershey show. I guess that was 3 weeks ago. We did several upgrades to it while we were in Indiana. You can see here the grill guard, the wheels. We did a few other upgrades we'll kind of talk about. For people that have watched my videos, I will make this a little bit more boring. For people that have never watched my video, I'm going to just kind of start from scratch. So the unique thing about Showhauler is it's custom. So you could do a slide, no slide, windows, no windows, extra length, basically extra height. So there was so many different things you can do with a Showhauler you can't do with anybody else. I've said this once before, and I've had lots of people try to correct me. This is the only RVIA certified custom built coach that's all steel frame construction. There's other people that do aluminum, there's people that do steel that aren't RVIA, but this is a true motorhome, not a conversion. So they start with the Freightliner chassis itself. This is a Cascadia 126, so it's a little bit longer hood Cascadia with the 600 horse. So this is the DD16, so it's 15.6 liters. Made it to the DT12 transmission. So that's the Detroit 12-speed transmission. To me, it's kind of my premier power combination. The Cascadia cab, a little bit taller, a little bit wider than some of the other cabs that are out there. So much more comfortable to drive. I enjoy driving them. I've driven almost 2,000 miles this week in addition to coming back here and selling a few coaches. But so this particular coach in length is about 45 foot overall. So it's essentially a 35 foot conversion with a 126 inch cab, 18,000 pound front axle. So all the front axles are a spring ride as opposed to an air ride. They don't make anything that's heavy duty enough to do a air ride front axle. So 18,000 pound front spring, and then effectively we have a combination of 40,000 pound rears. If you really wanted to dissect that, they'd actually come up to 23,000 per axle on the back, but it's 40,000 combined, so 58,000 pound gross vehicle weight rating. It does have air ride on the rear. It does have the optioned rooftop awnings here, the nice Gerard awnings. We just have the fake cams on the other side. Just said all white. Why do we do all white? Because it's nice and simple, it's easy to keep clean, and is substantially cheaper than a full body paint. Can this rig be full body painted after the fact? Yes. So if you said, hey, I want the motorhome, but I want full body paint, it can definitely be done, but I would probably say somewhere in the neighborhood of about $35,000 to $40,000 for a complete custom paint job on it. So you can see here, we did the combined storage compartments. To be able to do, I think we had a ladder in there when we went up to the show. We did a cooler there, that's a dual zone cooler, and then a empty compartment up here. All these compartments do automatically lock, so you essentially got a key fob or keypad right there. You can lock all those. Might need to lube those hinges a little bit. Outdoor TV. So we just delivered a coach to a customer. He just left early today. Essentially the same floor plan. You didn't want an outdoor TV, so not a problem to be able to add or subtract any of those prior to it being produced. So that particular customer wanted a TV in the compartment, so we were able to get it done down there. So lots of different options here. This is something pretty cool that we did. Me being such a neat freak that I am, and I got my start in car washing. So we put an onboard power washer here, and it does have a deionizer tank. We actually filled the coach with reverse osmosis water as opposed to using the DI tank. So once we drove 500 miles from Indiana over to Pennsylvania, we pulled up in the parking lot of the hotel and washed the entire coach. Just something nice to be able to do. That particular hose will reach all the way around the coach up front if you had a trailer. And this is a 100-gallon tank rearwards of the axle here. We're able to wash the entire coach and wash the Bronco back behind. We still have a little bit of water left over. You can see here we have the deionizer tank. And if somebody wanted to be able to tap into the hot water inside this particular bay and use the house water, it wouldn't be a problem to tap into the hydronic heater there. 50,000 BTU hydronic heater. This is from ITR, which is International Thermal Research. A little bit smaller company than Aquahot, a little bit better customer service in my opinion. This guy just pulls out, and there's a switch on the power washer. Makes it pretty darn simple to be able to wash stuff. And then you do have an outlet right here for that 100-gallon water tank back here. So very simple Liftco slides. It's amazing how many people there at the show came in and commented about this slide, said, I've never seen anything quite like this. What is it? Why are you guys use it? You know, it takes a little bit longer in the production, but we feel it's the most simplistic slide out there. They just simply don't break. Most manufacturers are using Schwinn-Tech that it's a lot more problematic. It's faster to install. So essentially they install the rack all the way around the slide, and they put it in, they put screws in and hook up some wires. So it's much, much faster, this particular slide. But I think that you'll find this to be a lot less problematic. You do have your support arms on each side of the slide, so there's not much binding up. Just simple electric motor, reverse polarity. So fiberglass rear cap, good news. They're probably gonna be changing this cap. I wouldn't imagine the next year you'll see an updated cap from Showhauler, and I think they'll do a two-piece, which will allow you, if you did damage the lower portion of the rear cap, you could easily ship that lower portion. So it's kind of a modernization of the cap, and the talks of doing inserts. So if the tail light design changes in the years, you just simply change out the particular insert. So kind of excited about that. This does have the nice heavy-duty welded aluminum ladder. It says 250, but it'll do a lot more than 250. A lot of people will take and put bicycles, maybe Starlink, all kinds of antennas, anything. So it's a pretty robust ladder itself, and there are backers. A lot of the manufacturers out there don't put any kind of backers. So if you step on this ladder, that entire fiberglass cap moves substantially. With all the backers, of course, it's all steel within the structure itself. You won't get too much movement in this. So 30,000-pound hitch assembly. The hitch itself here is rated at 40,000, but this particular portion is rated at 30,000. We generally option with a 2-inch receiver down below, so you can flat tow, or if you had a 2-inch ball, you could slide in. Obviously, we flat towed the Bronco out to Pennsylvania, and but still have the robustness of the 30,000-pound hitch there. We capped off the glad hands there, just for aesthetics. I thought it looked a little bit better. This is your camera plug, and then your 50-amp buddy plug there as well. We can option them with additional cameras, so maybe a hitch cam. Of course, we have the top cam as well. So very simplistic design in their wet bay. You'll have 72-gallon gray, 72-gallon black back here, and those tanks extend all the way across the coach from left to right. That allows much easier access, and all the plumbing is above the floor until it goes into the waste tank. So there again, a lot less thing to potentially break. And this does have a regular manual flushing toilet back here. Just less water, there again, less things to break. Do have a hose reel on board. The transfer switch, and I think what you'll see in the last few years is, several years ago, Showhauler wasn't, they weren't so big on doing cord reels and hose reels, and that's something just with the evolution of the product and the price point, I don't think you'll see me do mini coaches without that from here on. It just makes it handy, rather than having to trying to manhandle a cord, and I don't know where Showhauler gets their shore cords, but it might be stiffshorecords.com because they're extremely stiff. This is a lot easier to take and manipulate, slide underneath the coach. Oh, the transfer switch itself, not that there's anything to see, but they've gone to the transfer switch that essentially has some surge protection in. The biggest thing, what I like, is it will monitor your amp draw per leg. So give you a good idea of what your amp draw is, combined with your volts coming in the coach. So if you're at a campground, kind of has some iffy power, you can easily monitor that on the Firefly. So open compartment right here. This is a just a combined waste tank that utilizes the half bath and the kitchen sink on there on the other side. There again, the customer that just left earlier, he was adamant about not putting the black into this tank right here, so we were able to run the black from the back to the black back tank. So that 5 times fast. One thing I forgot to mention about the axles, with these being trucks versus diesel pushers, those are live axles. So if you were stuck, you could lock your front axle left to right, and then you can lock your back axle in as well. So if you were in any kind of inclement weather, any kind of sand, ice, or anything like that, you can lock all 8 tires there on the back of the coach. Pretty much option them all with the 12.5 Onan generator. That's more than enough power to run all 3 air conditioners and everything else on board. There again, it's a little bit easier to service, and it does have 6 quarts of oil versus most of the 6 to 8Ks will be anywhere from 2.5 to 3 quarts. So just a little bit longer life between oil changes. This is something that I've been pushing for quite some time. Very happy to have. So this is a Victron inverter. So it does have the Victron inverter coupled with the Victron controller, or solar charge controller. The servo, it does have the Touch 7 monitor inside. That is a multi-plus 2, so it just allows a lot more things to be potentially inverted, but at the same time it gives you a lot more safety in the way of pass-through. It actually has a 50 amp pass-through, so lots more potential to run, more than one air conditioner, not at the same time, but once you get plugged in or running your generator, makes it a lot safer. You don't have to worry about overloading your pass-through. So did 3 of the 270 amp hour Battleborn batteries there. They're a little bit lower profile, so essentially it's mimics that of an 8D, and that will slide underneath your chassis battery. Chassis batteries are up top. There again, we've done lots of battery conversions where we've taken the chassis batteries and moved them over and stacked some of the 270s on top of each other, doing like the GC3s are a little bit skinnier, a little bit taller. So fuel-wise, 120-gallon fuel tank, which to me is sufficient enough fuel to be on board. If it's the 116, everything scooches a little bit further back, so you lose a little bit more of your storage compartment, but regardless, it's a 120-gallon fuel tank standard, whether it's a 116 or the 126. We did the powder-coated steps here to kind of match everything. Very easy entry in and out of the cab itself. Did the minimizer molded floor liner, so it's kind of similar to, what's that company in Chicago? They're coming to me. Anyway, like a nice molded floor liner. Black handles there, black pieces right there, black mirror backs, and of course this grill guard right here. We started stocking these grill guards. They're such an easy install. It's very much an impulse buy, so it's nice to be able to have this in stock for somebody that wants one. We carry this particular style right here in silver and black. 54-inch bunk over, so 2 people that like each other, or 1 person to give it a little bit more room. Polished tile floors. A really nice look there at the Hershey RV Show this year. I'm not a fan of the polished tile floors because I'm a neat freak, and I feel like I can see, maybe a footprint here, a footprint there, but matter of preference. But as far as receivership there at the show, everyone enjoyed the colors. I like having the contrast between light and dark. Kept these closed just because we got a lot of junk in the background, but obviously when you open these up, see the big giant monster picture windows. I'll pull the day shade down to minimize the sunlight coming in. But I've always enjoyed having the much larger picture windows, just to be able to come in, and if you look out the window, not have to do this number to look out the window. Of course, we did the big 65 over here instead of a window. We still have, if you look at some of the other product, it's a little bit wider window than what you've seen in the past. So I always figured, worst case scenario, we'll put a camera right through that wall, And if you need to turn to channel 28, that'll be your outdoor camera, and you can watch what's going on right outside through the TV there. So just preference. We've done this floor plan in various configurations. Kind of the reason why we like doing this without the televator. One, it gives us a larger TV. Two, this is a full flip out couch. And then whenever everything comes together, we still have a lot of room. By the time you add the televator, it gets pushed in, it's really tight in there. And additionally, when this couch is completely folded out into a bed, you still have walk around room. If we had this pushed out, essentially you'd have to either climb on this or climb over your partner, or just make sure you're sleeping on this side as opposed to that side if you need to get up and go to the restroom. So all Villa furniture. This is ultra leather putty, which is a very common ultra leather from several different manufacturers. Electric theater seats. They're not heated. They're not massage. Can we get it? Yes, but so is every travel trailer in North America. So just not my preference. Just nice classic design and decent amount of room here. You do have a plug here, but we have added additional plugs right here for people as well. We did regular sliding glass here. So instead of the frameless, if anybody's been on the forums, on any kind of like owners forums, especially big manufacturers, you'll hear people talking about their window coming apart. So it's essentially the frameless windows are all bonded together versus this has an actual frame and gives you a lot more. Just got to manhandle a little bit, gives you a lot more cross breeze. So if you're a person that likes a little bit of ventilation, these work a lot better. The reason why I option them is I'm just tired of the frameless windows failing within 2 years of ownership, and of course the company that builds them not really backing them up. We've had a lot less issues with the frame glass right here. A little bit smaller dinette right here because of the way that this comes in. I think this is 42. You can option it with 48, but by the time everything comes in, it gets a little tight right there. But still, 4 people can sit at the dinette. If not, just eat your mac and cheese over there by yourself. It does have the induction cooktop. So it takes up a little bit of space right here, but it does have this little drawer right here to put all your Ginsu knives. And this could be optioned, changing it different directions. A lot of people like to be able to put stuff. There's no wrong or right to it, it's just particular preference. So we do have the tank heaters and then also the Oasis control underneath here, and then all the rest of the operation is right back here. We did a little bit different sink on this. We're trying to get away from the stainless sinks. I'm just kind of tired of the scratches, especially like in a bath sink. You get a lot of toothpaste that never really rinse out and clean them out very well. So full-size residential refrigerator, nothing to see there. However, if you're at an RV show, that's the only thing to see. You have to open up the refrigerator. I think 12,000 people tried to open the refrigerator. Half bath right in here. So decent sized room. Because this is right above the axle, we're not able to run a regular flushing toilet. So this is a macerator, and like I said, it does pump into the front tank, but we could take and change it up and be able to pump into the back tank as well. So another thing that is pretty important to me is the ease of all your electrical and the fact that it's not taking up so much room within, say, a kitchen. So do everything here. Yes, you lose a little bit of room where you might not be able to take and put some linens, but I would much rather lose the room here and gain the room, say, in a large pantry, because a lot of manufacturers take up a tremendous amount of room within the pantry itself. So in the Multi Plus, it does have 250 amp pass-throughs. So you can see there, we run the second air conditioner. Basically everything with the exception for heated tile floors and the buddy plug, and 2 air conditioners will run off the inverter. But there again, if a person said, hey, Darren, I want the option to be able to run the bedroom or the mid AC off, you can easily take and just reconfigure it. Not a problem at all. Quartz countertops. You'll notice a little bit bigger sinks. That's one thing that I go back and look at older coaches, and the size of some of the sinks were about just this big enough to wash a little puppy or something. So much more room here if you got a little bit larger man hands. I guess the windows, the sinks have all gotten a little bit bigger. Nothing really else to see here. Lots of room. And you thought you lost that. All right, let me throw this down here. I'm getting sidetracked. Lady. Did Starlink on board here. So it was nice to be able to hang out and watch. I think we watched lots of Army fail on YouTube the entire time. They hardwire everything, which just makes things a little bit easier. You don't have to worry about any kind of wireless signal. But if we're doing it, adding an after fact, we don't have issues with wireless signals, but that's one extra step that Showhauler will do. They'll run Cat 6 cables to everything, every single location, as far as TV wise, entertainment wise. So we got the Firefly panel and the Touch 7. We could do an entire video talking about the full Victron system, but nice thing that lets you know what's going on. It lets you know what power is coming in your battery, basically your state of charge, how many amps you are pulling on each particular leg, and then of course we'll go with electronic menu right here. There again, you can see we've got 28 amps on one leg, 13 on the other, and the voltage associated with those legs. So they're still pretty much old school. Showhauler's old school in that they won't bring slides, they won't bring thermostats into the Firefly. I think I've got them talked into a workaround to be able to still do basically like mechanical switches. So if your Firefly goes down, hit a switch, it turns on your air conditioner, and then have to turn it off. Same for your slides, just have a reverse polarity switches. So I think that's kind of the next one. This forcing them over to the Victron was a little bit of a hurdle, but the guy in charge of that's pretty excited about it. So I think that's the next major thing for us to take and change up. Washer dryer. This was the second most popular thing at the Hershey RV Show next to the refrigerator. This is what they should have been looking at, was the pantry. Well, wish that they would run a little bit different edge right there. Baby steps, baby steps. And then that's just a full length, and those are adjustable shelves. There again, if a guy wanted to go through and put a clothes rod in there, not a problem to take and do that. A little bit larger bedroom than we typically do on some of the bunkhouse floor plans. So these are 88-inch slides, which allows you a 72-inch wide bed. It's 80 inches long, so there's a lot of room here. Got storage above, and you do have a Firefly panel, so you can take and drop all your lights, start to generate, do a lot of things from the Firefly panel underneath. There again, a little bit bigger picture windows here. No windows right here, but larger. There's some more bedding. So you can basically kind of go around there, take and hang up all your hanging clothes within there. Maybe this will go away in time because we don't really need any more Atari. It's actually set up for satellite, but with the evolution of Starlink, all that's gone away. It's like watching TV at home. You just fire up whatever app you want to watch, move on down the road. It does have the heated tile floors here in the back. Have this particular thermostat right here. The nice thing about the thermostat is you can basically set up a schedule, so you can have it come on, say 78 degrees at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then back down to say 65 at 9 o'clock in the morning. So you do have two different controllers for front and rear. Oh, I think we're at a little bit of an angle, so I'll do this for my help. So there again, still a lot of room within the back bathroom. This is a manual flushing toilet, like I noted before, and lots of room within the cabinets here. And then this goes around as well, and lots of access to be able to get to plumbing and such. I'm going to do a little jump in the shower. Kind of see how much room we got there. So 41-inch rear shower right here, and I think is this 32 or 36? 36, yes, 36. Okay, 36. I do have the two shower insets right here. So if you have all your Garnier Fructis conditioner. You can put lots of conditioner and body soap within all those. No skylight, that's all you need right there in my opinion. And for the people that wanted to take and change this out, we've gone through and changed out different shower heads. If you wanted some kind of spray bar, we just got to figure out how we can drill holes in this without popping any holes, without cracking it themselves. But the nice thing is you can kind of see within the wall on this other side right here. You're fine. You see you have little inspection covers right here. So if you needed to get to anything, and we've actually gone through it on other times and just built a big mirror and cut a giant hole in there. So if somebody wanted to do something wild and crazy, lots of different options. Another thing that I want to talk about that we don't probably have never talked about, but in the way of doing additions to these coaches, the ceiling is built with some supports going left and right. So basically, you got some 2x2 studs that go front and then side. So when it comes time to add Starlink, when it comes time to add additional solar panels, very easy to take and get within the roof and be able to run front to back or left to right. That's pretty much unheard of in the RV industry. They're all vacuum bonded ceilings that are put together that have a few chases in them, and you really can't add stuff after the fact. So that allows each air conditioner vent to be a little bit bigger as well. In fact, I would probably say it's probably 50% larger than anything out there on the market. And another thing I want to show you, so if you look at the thickness, look at how thick this is right here. My hand right there actually goes beyond that. So that's there again, that's pretty unique to have such a thick roof coupled with all the spray foam. I forgot the spray foam. So it does have spray foam within the walls and the ceiling, and then we do a foam board below. There again, a lot of people came inside the coach there at the show. We would shut the door and say, what can you hear? And I said, it feels like we shut the outside off. There again, no other manufacturer is offering the kind of spray foam, the kind of quality of sound deadening coupled with all the insulation. So there's so many advantages to be able to go to a show hauler. They are smaller productions, so they're less than 40 units a year. We get a handful of those units. They're getting a little bit better as far as timing. In fact, we've got a handful of units that will go into production November-ish, and several of those are available, and they could be available for a totally custom build, but you'd have to start right now. So anybody that has some interest, make sure you let us know. Price-wise, don't like to get into too much pricing on this stuff because everything is essentially a la carte. But this particular coach right here, I figured it's probably going to sell for a little bit less than $600,000. Of course, there's about $10,000-$12,000 worth of upgrades on it. Lots of upgrades beyond Showhauler themselves, and retail on this was about $657, I believe. So you don't have the crazy markup you see, your Newmars and your Integras that have monster markup that they say, oh, $200,000 off, $150,000 off. So you won't see that with a Showhauler. But most of these are going to fall in that $550 to $650 price category. Just all depends upon what you do as far as options. So make sure you guys give me a shout if you have any questions. We're headed back to Indiana to get a 4x4 ready. That's sold. And another Renegade. We're going to do some custom stuff on it as well. We'll make sure we got some good videos of that. Pretty happy with my Rode microphone here. We'll keep on using that. And the best part, my partner likes the microphone. If she's happy, I'm happy. So I appreciate you guys. What, we 35 minutes on this video?
28.
28. Well, okay, 28. So anyway, appreciate you guys. If you guys are watching the video right now, that means you're a fan and you always come out and watch the videos front to back. We really appreciate each one of you. If you guys have any questions, want to come do a tour over the winter at the factories, just give us a shout. We'll be happy to help you guys out. Any service work, in fact, we're going to finish going through the service department. It's the reason why we parked the coach right here. I don't believe you will see this large a collection of coaches. Everybody's going to be on camera. So we got several coaches that are, all of these units are sold or almost sold. They're all pre-owned units, but there again, I don't think you'll see many other dealerships out there that kind of focus and have a major specialty in the Super C. That's a 22 Showhauler. It's a 21 Verona LE. This is a brand new Explorer that we're going to do a complete blackout wheels, and this is the first of that floor plan right there, the very first. It is sold. That particular coach right there is a 2020, was built for the FMCA show, and unfortunately COVID hit, but that coach has come back to us, and now it is going back to California after we do a few upgrades to it as well. But you know, that's the bulk of our business, doing these big coaches like this. We know them inside and out. We can get you in and out fast. We're not the closest, but we're very central to all parts of the country. So make sure you guys come out and check us out. For everybody that come out and seen Brett service-wise, really appreciate it. Make sure you guys keep on coming back, like, tag, and subscribe.